Okay, so good evening, good night. This will be a hopefully short update video, or as I call it, agenda video. And there was a little scoop, like at the end. First of all, I'm very tired, and it's getting very difficult to walk in this room because I have so many stuff, and I can't even move. So I need to get rid of stuff, but I need everything, and for the art, and it's just such a pain, and really I need to be free from this hell. This is hell, and I need to be free from this hell. And I don't understand why people abroad are so lenient, or so doesn't care at all about their own fate, because your fate is directly related to me being rescued from this place. And I already told you so many things that were amazing, but were proven to be true. Mostly regarding not only Venus, but only the things that are going on in this room, and the nature of the Venusians, and and you need to understand that the people that said me don't want you to crucify me. It's not like in the agenda. It might happen, but it's a risk. Like everyone that goes to Earth, knows that the people of the Earth might kill him, because that's the way they are. But it's not like the agenda. And they will be very like I said, if it will happen, even though it can happen. Yes, it's like an option. And you need to do everything that you can to get me out of here, using arms and legs, not mouths and tongues. The Israelis are completely insane. Anyway, there is nothing new about it. I should just, so let's do a quick update regarding the art. So yes, I decided that to get back to the forward, to indeed create like a new curses and also blessing. Sometimes it's blessing. It's not only curses, but mostly curses, but also blessing. And this was like that in the past. But I decided not to use like the many. I have more than 100 paintings, like in this. Some are very elaborate, like paint, oil and acrylic in this, all on canvas, like in this rolled in this closet. And maybe I'll sell it like in the future. But if I will be out of the slavery, I guess people will want to buy it, because it actually, every painting is actually an alien container with many like life forms and robots. But as I said, not to retrofit like other paintings like for new curses, but instead to use the ones that I paint here, and to paint some more, even though it will take some time. But okay. Anyway, and to keep like the format of 4, and also to use the format to as much as I can, to use the format of the chamber of the Cherubs, which kind of like the model room for the construction of the Cherubs, with the signifiers for the Neos. I do not always follow it, and it's not always needed. It's kind of like it's not always needed, because sometimes the message can the message can get home without the whole kind of the complete symbolic construction. But and the set of 4 that I've done in the past were not made specifically for in mind of the chamber of the Cherubs. They're not specifically so. No, it was other kind of sets, because this is more strict. The one the chamber of the Cherubs is something that I didn't use until now, specifically because it's so strict. But I don't mind doing it now, because now I think I will my emphasis will be more on pretty much symbolic paintings, even more than before. And I will not I don't have the capacity and mental kind of acuity now to really walk walk very meticulously and on the artistic side of the art. And it's lamentable, but that's the fact. I will probably use mostly a symbolic paintings like you see here, and similar to that, and not even as elaborated as the titanometry and to see here now, the black ones and the old ones. And we said that I had much more elaborate than that. But you can get some nice results, like the solar system, it is the new one. And so what's the idea of the 4? The 4. So the idea is that each background is that the four kind of the 4 it's done in the sets of 4, and all 4 share the same background. like red, black, yellow, brown, and that's about it. Like, I mean, maybe blue. I mean, for C, and it can be red, brown, you know. But I mean, that's about it. And it can be metal as well. So the idea is that, I mean, like, I mean, for example, so let's, I mean, just, I mean, that it will be that the four are paired to like, I mean, to two pairs. Now each pair, I mean, there is like the bottom one and the upper one, and the upper one is the, like, the result, and the bottom one is the, like, current state. Like, for example, this signifies, I mean, what you see here signifies, I mean, these are, you know, the weird creatures, I mean, that some think are like, you know, starfish or something like that. I mean, as I explained in the past, this is a representation of the atom, the uranium and plutonium specifically. So what it means is that, I mean, and you see that Mars and the Earth are painted, like, I mean, they are the relevant, like, I mean, planets in the whole, like, I mean, in the solar system, and you see that, I mean, the upper, like, I mean, the upper one, you see the symbols of the radioactive material, but much smaller. So basically, it means to reduce radioactive, like, materials from the planets, from Earth and Mars, which would be, I mean, which is required, because not for the same reason, but I mean, for actually very different reason, but it is required. And here, I mean, this is like more, you know, standard titanomachi, you know, painting, which just, I mean, you know, the upper one you have more ships than the lower one. This is the more standard, like, way, like, you know, to, like, I mean, to increase the number of, you know, of ships, like, that are taking, you know, the Earth. It's pretty basic, and it was actually done in the past, not only by me, but by my predecessors. Kind of like, I mean, you know, the titanomachi is one of, like, you know, again, I lament the fact that I had to sell 2 of the 4, like, to my mother, because actually they are very nice ones, and you know, it was sold for nothing, because, you know, I have no money at all. But I mean, never mind. I mean, whatever. So regarding the red ones, sorry, I forgot, like, to say something important, that something is missing here actually, even though it's not always needed, but it's because you can understand it here, like, from the context. But I mean, we miss, like, the arc of, like, increasing and decreasing. You know, you see it a lot in the symbolic, like, every symbolic construction, like the arc, like, I mean, you know, this symbol, which is basically means increase if it's bright on black on dark, or decrease if it's dark on bright. This is a very basic symbol, and so we miss it here, even though it's kind of, like, understood from, you know, from the context, like, and I mean, the Neros can understand context. It's not that they are stupid, like, you know, they're not like robots, you know, that need, like, programming language with, you know, everything, that the syntax must be strict, like, you know, it's not like that. It's more native language, like, I mean, of humans, natural language. So with regards to the red ones, so the perfect kind of, I mean, model for the chamber of the cherubs is that one pair is reduction and one pair is increasing, like, it increase. But you don't always want that. So I mean, that's why, I mean, you don't. I mean, I didn't use this model until now, even though I knew about it, because it's kind of, like, very restrictive, and you don't always need it. It's kind of like, you know, if you want, like, mathematically perfect, I mean, or, like, rigorously perfect kind of, like, model, but it's not always needed, because not always you need, like, to, sometimes you just need to increase something, you don't want to decrease, like, or, I mean, you know, and also this is something that actually, I mean, repeats in many kind of, like, constructions, like, of the Neros right from the beginning, and you see it a lot, is kind of, like, I mean, that the double room, this actually is supported by this, I mean, continually by the structure of this room, that, like, the room is separated to 2 chambers, not of equal size, but You see like here and there, and like so. I mean, the other side is kind of like the exclusions. This is something that repeats a lot, but I mean, it's not always needed. So, so I mean, for example, here we increase the starships and we decrease like the radioactivity. So regarding the red, you know, background, which is, as you know, symbolizes human beings and also, like, you know, the disgusting titans of the Earth. So I need 2 more paintings actually to make it like, I mean, like, you know, to the best way that I wanted, because right now it's not like, I mean, according to the symbolic, exactly according to the symbolic language. So idea is, I mean, that, but it shouldn't be too difficult, even though it takes time, especially since it's like, you know, you need like to cut the you know, to cut the canvas and to stretch it over, you know, the frame, and to prime it with gesso and wait, and then prime it with acrylic and then wait, and then oil colors, and you know, so it takes time. Even though if even symbolic paintings like these ones, I mean, they take time because of the medium, and you know, but I actually like it because it stays. I mean, it's proved to be much more like durable. Like I mean, my paintings stood the test of time, I would say, even though they are not that old. But I mean, the things that many of my paintings, like the ones that are in it, I mean, the closet was 10. Like I mean, they went all over like the country, and you know, sustained like, you know, waterfalls. I mean, down. I mean, you know, nights of rain and sun and whatever. But then they still like, they're not only they are mostly like in great shape. But I mean, actually, it helped. It's presumed it helped. Like you know, the thriving of an alien container, like in alien terrarium inside each of these paintings. I mean, each of these paintings contains like millions of life forms and robots. This was proven, like I mean, in a series of 13 videos that I uploaded to this channel. So yeah, I mean, it's worthwhile to use like canvas, which is kind of like durable, and then oil colors and or acrylics, you know, and to use varnish, which I don't have now, but I've used a lot in the past. So the idea is that, I mean, to separate, like I mean, like very simply, I mean, there will be like a pair of that is concentrated on the Neros, and the command will be to decrease the Neros, so they will be decreased in the bodies of, you know, humans and scumbag titans in Earth, and to increase in like the life forms, like this one, but I mean we need another one, like I mean, that will contain more life forms, and the pairing of the Neros. First of all, this one should be like change from the negative to a positive, like, you know, direction, because it's kind of like they are alive, and on the top it will be like all white. You know, if it's all white, it's dead. Like white is the color of death, like in the Neo language. It's something that I understood long ago. And if it's black and white, it means that's like an element that is there in order to to help you get context, but you need to, but it's not part of the symbol, like the construction. Like for example, like you see like the you know, like Jupiter and Uranus and, you know, and Neptune, like that are there in black and white in order to understand that this is actually the solar system, like our solar system, not another solar system. But they are black and white because they are not, they shouldn't be like part of, like we don't care, like of, like, you know, reducing or increasing any radioactive material, like in, you know, in Neptune, for example. So there will be like white Neros, which means like dead, and also this kind of like chip that you know, it symbolizes like the bicycle and also other stuff. And on the other pair, it will be like more life forms, and but we need to increase, like to make it like bigger. So this will be like the one in the in under, and on the top of it will be one which is bigger. I need, of course, to cut canvases. It will take some time to cut it and to staple it and all those things. Now, with regards to the yellow or the orange ones that are, you know, of my kind, so I already have, some a pair that is almost satisfactory, just require a little bit of change. That, of course, signify like increasing the size and quantity of the Neros, which is fine. It's pretty straightforward. By the way, it's not only for me; it's like to everybody that have like the yellow. That is under the category of the yellow or the red or the orange is the same, yellow, red, orange, yellow background. It's all of it. Like you know, as I said, the Neros, the Neros, and the Cherubs, they work like, you know, in global way. Like mostly. If you put two, like, you know, or more, like, you know, symbols. They try to get like to understand the, you know, the common denominator, and to apply to all, like, the incidents that share this common denominator. That's the way that they act. Like if you take me or my predecessor or whatever, I mean, enemies or I mean, allies of the Cherubs with radioactive weapon, the Cherubs, I mean, with the Neos, they eliminate all the radioactive material from the Earth. That's the kind of like, that's the logic. And it was always like that. It's not something new. Again, it's the same as with airplanes. Like I mean, if you take with F-15 or F-16, I mean, so they delete all the like strike airplanes, like military strike airplanes from all over the world. Generally, the minimum kind of like, I mean, entity is a moon or a world. I mean, they don't care about flags and like things like that. Even though if you really, I mean, insist, I mean, they might like care about maps. Like I've painted quite a few maps in the past, like in both like an artistic way and more like symbolic way. So sometimes they care about maps, but I mean they don't care at all about flags. As I said, they interpret flags in like a funny way. Like it's actually very funny to discover. Like I mean, it takes a lot of time to understand. Like I mean, how they interpret flags. Like I mean, like like the flag of Germany. Like I mean, it's got a meaning, but I mean it's completely nothing. I mean something completely different. And I may already mentioned the flag of Brazil and the flag of the United States. Like I mean, and like almost any flag that it's got like a meaning, like in their language, but it's never something that even remotely relates like to countries like in Earth. It's just I mean all sorts of like I mean things that completely completely different context. Like I mean. So it's better not to use flag if you don't really understand what it means, like in their language, but because it's not what you think it means, like from their perspective. So I will need to create another pair. Of course, it will take some time, but and every time, maybe tomorrow, with the decrease, like sign. And of course, what I want to decrease is life forms because I still have life forms in my body, as you've seen in the recent experiments, and I want to decrease it. I don't want it to exist in my body. So there will be one. I mean, the one that is almost ready of like increasing the Neos, and like just minor changes, and another one which I'll start from scratch with the more like symbols of life forms that should be reduced. Now there is also the Full Metal Jacket. And here I have it's kind of I mean, so yes, I already have like two paintings, of the pupas and the eggs. The eggs needs a little bit of work. It's kind of like done hastily, but I mean the pupa is nice, and I just need like to change it. I mean to brown or to blue. I mean because I want like it to be like to signify that it's not necessarily like hatched inside the bodies of people, but I mean all over the world. And also to create like the two other ones, like of like the two other phases, like I mean the walker phase. I mean maybe the warm phase, and the queen or walker, like I mean the loud ones that I need to do, and I'll do it. Like it will be kind of like zoological painting, like I mean that I mean needs like to signify like how I interpreted the way that this insect looks like. But actually, I mean it should be said that this kind of like I mean. This fall, I mean, it's a cost for the Earth, of course, but it's also a blessing. I mean, so I need to think about the symbolism here and how because maybe I can actually like incorporate it, like some of these paintings of the Full Metal Jacket in its various stages, like the cocoon and the pupa, and maybe I can incorporate it to another set that I want to do, which is more of a blessing than a curse, which is the Crucible of the Awakened. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, I spoke about it. I want to create a new Crucible, which will be much more elaborated. Like I mean, but I stopped mostly because I didn't have enough clay, and I still don't have clay. I mean, I barely have enough clay for the eggs project that I also need to continue. Like eggs with tremendous amount of Nero juice and stuff from the Crucible. Like I mean, much more than ever before. Like I mean, like 100 times like more than like regular eggs. Because like I cleaned all the Crucible, like I mean I put it inside these eggs, and we've seen like in the microscopic samples that actually it contains the ton of Nero, so it's kind of like I mean it's really like important egg. So I mean I barely have enough clay for that, and I truly don't have enough clay for the project that I started of the Crucible of the Awakened. So maybe in the future I mean I'll be able to get out of this apartment, and then I will be able to buy some clay, because I mean it's cheap but it's important for this kind of like elaborate structure that I wanted to I mean, maybe months ago I spoke about the Crucible of the Awakening, something like that, but just I didn't have enough clay, so I prefer like to postpone it. And I still don't have enough clay because I still, in the house arrest. But actually, what I can do is, so sometimes, just to say that sometimes, the 4 paintings are accompanied with sculptures. This was true for the curses and several blessings, but mostly these curses, of that you see like in this, in the closet, like of the past that I had, I created like, sculptures. I had also sculptures that are sometimes accompany like, these kind of like, the painting, but it's always 4 paintings, and sometimes you also add like sculptures. So regarding the Crucible of the Awakening, so aside from the Crucible itself, like the structure, the sculpture, maybe it's a good idea to create like 4 paintings of that will signify this kind of like blessing of the Crucible of the Awakening. That this is a blessing, not a curse, and there are all sorts of ways to actually paint it, both in mimetic fashion and symbolic fashion. And some of the symbolic like ways are kind of like overlap with like the depiction of the Full Metal Jacket. Like the idea is to awake the I don't really know how to explain it, and actually this relates to all sorts of like divination that I had very long ago. After my journey started like on 2019, but maybe 4 years ago, and certainly I already started to have these kind of like divinations. And I don't think that I ever spoken about it because it was one of the things that I kind of left close to my chest, as they say. So this is kind of like but the idea is something that maybe you know from like popular culture, because it's something that it's get like some kind of like presence in science fiction and like the idea. So so many of you actually speculated that there was a series of like a huge series of atomic nuclear bombs or nuclear weapons that detonated on Mars, and this is correct. It wasn't the only thing. There were other things, and maybe I'll speak about it in the future as part of the fairy tale, the 3 sisters. I guess now you understand who are the 3 sisters, and yes. And as you know, they lost their atmosphere, and many very, and you cannot ski in Olympus Mons anymore, which is a shame because it was really a premium site, like the #1 in the solar system. But so the idea is to, metaphorically or not, to wake them, because it's not that the Venusians are their only remnants. This is incorrect. It's more complicated than that. It's much more complicated than that. Reality is complicated. It's not always simple. And I think that they are needed because the situation is unbearable, and both the Venusians and the people of the Earth are children, and they need to be awakened. The problem is that there was a reason why they went to sleep to begin with, and there were several reasons, and it should be taken care of. There's all sorts of issues that should be taken care of, because they are more similar to the Venusians than to myself, in their I would say biology, which means that they are not as durable as I am, even though they are more durable than humans. It's something like Venusians, más o menos. So you need to think about not only to wake them, but also to think what kind of a place, where will they go, and what will be the conditions, and to think about the problems that necessitate this long sleep to begin with. But maybe I'll think about it some more later. So this is the agenda, and probably And also I need to clean this room, I mean, of stuff, because I mean I can barely move. And also I need to sleep, which is very important as well.